All right, so let's move on to an example to help you flesh out what exactly we're doing and kind of wrap everything in a nice little neat bow. Okay, so Jim buys only bananas and CDs. Suppose that Jim's income is $40. Bananas cost 80 cents per pound and CDs cost $8 each. Okay. So write the equation for Jim's budget constraint and graph it. So let's do, JK, let's do that. All right, so we have I equals px times x plus py times y. Okay, your income is $40. Price of bananas is 0.8 times, I'll do BAN for bananas, BANANAS plus $8. I'll just do regular 8 times CDs. For those of you who aren't as old as me, a CD is I guess even at the time I wrote this was dated. It's not that old. Not that old in an example. But a CD is this disc that you hold music on. Jesus, I can't believe I explained that. I was like the last person to still use blank CDs. I would make mixtapes for my car. It's a good hobby if you guys can find a car that still has a CD player. All right, so that's your budget constraint. Let's graph it. So what's on the y-axis? Doesn't really matter, but let's put one of the goods on the y-axis, and let's just randomly say that it's going to be, oh, gross. Let's say it's going to be CDs. Okay. Geez, why can't I draw straight? Well, it doesn't help that I am on a desk that is moving, so. Cool. All right. So, go away. I don't want you. All right. So we got CDs on whatever axis I just said it was, I guess Y. Doesn't matter. The goods can go on whatever axis. Doesn't really matter unless I ask you to put one on one and the other on the other. BANANAS. Okay, this graph is bananas, or this axis is bananas. All right, so what's the maximum amount of bananas that it can consume? 50. So if we take a calculator and we divide 40, our income divided by the price of bananas, we get 50. Okay. So 50 down here. And then the CDs will be 5. And obviously this is not drawn to scale because nothing in this class is drawn to scale because I couldn't draw a scale if even I wanted to. All right. So alternatively, we could have done it like this. Could have put this in slope-intercept form with CDs on the y-axis. So we could have 8 CDs equals 0.8. I'm sorry, equals 40 minus 0.8 bananas. So 1 CD equals 5 minus 0.1 bananas. Okay, so the slope is going to be negative 0.1. The intercept is going to be 5. Okay, y-intercept. Okay. So the budget constraint is going to look like this. Okay, and let's label that budget constraint. I'm going to label BC1 because I wrote the problem and I know that there's going to be a price change later on. Okay, so budget constraint 1. Okay. All right, so that's we wrote the equation for Jim's budget constraint and graphed it. Okay, next up, so suppose that Jim's optimal consumption bundle is 10 bananas, 4 CDs. Verify that he spends all of his income on this budget, on this bundle. So let's do that first. Okay, 10 bananas, 4 CDs. Okay, so we have our income, which is 40 equals, is that what it was? Yeah, 40 equals 10 times, it was 0.8 times 10 plus 8 times 4. So 40 equals, this should be 3 point, no, I'm sorry, it should be 8, excuse me, plus 32. It checks out. Boom, we got it. All right. So that's as we exhausted the budget constraint. What else do we need? Illustrate this consumption choice on your graph for part A, assuming that Jim's indifference curves are downward sloping and convex. So they should be convex skateboard ramp shaped, okay, and downward sloping in the sense of there's going to be it's not going to be an upside down skateboard, okay. Downward sloping in that, well, I guess both of them are downward sloping, but this should have a negative. It should have a trade-off between bananas and CDU, so it should look like this. Okay. All right, so we want the optimal consumption point, which I guess I'll do in black. So that'll be 4, 10, or 10, comma 4. Okay. (10, 4). I'm going to make that a little bit smaller so that it doesn't take up too much space on our graph. All right, so that's 10, 4. No pun intended. Okay, and we want to look at the indifference curve. I'm going to make it purple because I like the color purple. The color, I haven't seen the movie or read the book. All right, so we want basically an indifference curve that's skateboard shaped and tangent at 10, 4. So I'm going to do my best to draw that. A little off. Let's do one more. Let's give it one more try. All right, that's not so bad. A little wobbly, but it's okay. I think I made it wobblier, but whatever. Okay, so that's our indifference curve. See. Okay, suppose the price decreases for CDs to $5. Okay, what's the new budget constraint? So if we go up here, new budget constraint is just, we're going to swap out this for 5. Okay, and if we want to graph it, again, we could do this where we'll take this divided by 5 and we'll have 8, and should be 0.8 divided by 5, which should be 0.65, 0.625. Let's see. Nope, 0.16. Not even close. Okay. Okay, but that'll be our new slope. Alternatively, we could just connect the two lines. Okay. So let's do our new budget constraint in. Let's do it in light blue. Okay. Still want that. All right. So we know that the new y-intercept is moved up to 8. The x-intercept is still 50. Try it again. Nope. One more time. Too high. All right, literally one more time, I swear to God. All right, fair enough. That'll have to do. Okay, so we know that the y-intercept increased to 8 because the price is 5, and if price is 5 and your income is 40, you can consume at most 8 CDs. Okay, so that is our new budget constraint in blue. I'm going to label it budget constraint 2. All right. Illustrate the impact withdrawal. Okay, so we did that. Okay, assuming that bananas are a normal good and that the income effect dominates for banana consumption, what is the effect of the price decrease of CDs on Jim's consumption of bananas? All right, so let's think about this. Bananas are a normal good, and the price of CDs went down. So what happens by the income effect? So by the income effect, the purchasing power for bananas has increased because your overall purchasing power increases. So the income effect should increase your consumption of bananas. Okay, what happens by the substitution effect? Well, the price of CDs went down, not the price of bananas. So relative to CDs, okay, bananas have actually become more expensive. The opportunity cost for a banana has actually increased relative to the number of CDs you can buy. So the substitution effect will drop the consumption of bananas lower, okay, but the income effect will increase the consumption of bananas, okay, and by assumption number 2, we can say that the income effect is going to dominate, so the income effect's increase of banana consumption will outweigh the substitution effect's decrease in banana consumption. So we should see an increase in banana consumption, and we know that because the price of CDs went down and CDs are a normal good, that the income and substitution effect for CDs should increase that too. So CDs should increase because of the substitution and income effects, and bananas should increase because of the income effect despite the substitution effect. Okay, so I should be at a point, so this is the old consumption bundle, optimal consumption bundle, and we know that CDs has increased, so we should be somewhere above the amount of CDs that we had before, so we should be above 4. But we also know that bananas have increased, so we should be somewhere between here, so somewhere between the increase in bananas and here, so somewhere on basically in this range right here, going from a horizontal line here to a vertical line here. Somewhere in here is where the optimal consumption bundle should be. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to make it a little bit higher than it is going to the right, because CDs have both the income effect and the substitution effect working for it, whereas bananas have just the income effect. But you know, there's that said, there's not a real science to what I just did, because it's just we don't have the actual indifference curves here. Okay. Whoa. Ooh, I almost just lost a good laptop right there. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the new point as being greater than 10, greater than 4. Okay. Show the income effect. Show the impact of a change in price of CDs on Jin's consumption bundle by decomposing it into the substitution and income effects. Label the income effect, the substitution effect, and total effect of bananas on consumption on your graph. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to have a basically this blue one, BC2. I want a budget constraint that has the same exact slope, the same proportion, the same price ratio as the blue budget constraint, the budget constraint 2, but that is tangent to this purple indifference curve. Okay. All right, so, oh, where'd it go? I'm going to make this one, let's make it green because I haven't used green yet. All right, and it looks like it's kind of a little, no, it looks like it's almost the same exact point, but I'm actually going to argue that the tangents should be closer to here, it looks like. It's just this is a function of me just not being good at drawing. So let me give a new, what color haven't I used yet? I guess I haven't used orange. So this will be the new tangent right here. Oh, go away. All right, so that's the new tangent. So the substitution effect. Let's call this less than 10, greater than 4, because it went up a little bit on the CDs. The number of CDs increased by a little bit. And the number of bananas decreased by a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to call this, let's call this B. Let's call this, this was the original one, so A. And let's call this one C. Okay. Oh. Kind of want this in the frame as I talk about it. Okay, so we had a price drop in CDs, okay, which should happen because CDs are now obsolete. Okay, this led to a budget constraint increase on the y-axis. Okay, I'm going to make the text on here a little bit smaller so we can see the whole graph here. Come on, go, move, go away. Come on, do this. Why are you acting like you are? All right, there you go. Ah, geez. So cause price drop in CDs, effect 1, budget constraint increases on the y-axis, red budget to blue budget. Okay, effect 2, new optimal consumption bundle. So from point C to, from point A to point C. Okay. Effect 2 sub A to B, A to B is on the same indifference curve with the new price ratio. This is the substitution effect. So what's it doing? Why is it not letting me type? So the price of CDs went down, so we consume more CDs. Price of bananas relative to CDs went up, so we consume less bananas. So that's just like the first part. That's just the substitution effect portion of it. Then effect 2B is going from B to C, and this will be the income effect portion. So new price ratio, new indifference curve. Okay, so this is the moving from green to blue, basically. So it's the new price ratio to relative to red, not relative to the green one, which is the fake price, the fake budget constraint that we drew. Okay. Same price ratio as green. Okay. And aka the move from from green to blue captures the income change only, right? So remember I showed you that if we were to draw the equation for or if we were to write out the equation for the green line and write out the equation for the blue line, all that's really changing is that I, the income level, though that's because it's the income effect. And that's really what we're trying to capture here. I want to see if I can buy a little bit of space here. All right. And income increases for both goods. So both goods. Income increases for both goods. CDs and banana consumption increases. And then effect 2 overall, income dominates substitution. So the drop in quantity for bananas because of the substitution effect is outweighed by the increase in quantity of bananas by the income effect. Okay? So to decompose it, the move from A to B is your substitution effect, the move from B to C is your income effect, and the move from A to C is your total new optimal budget constraint change. Okay. And I think that's it for the problem. And I have a nicer graph on the next slides, so let's show you that. Yeah. I guess I should label. Well, it is labeled. So if I were to label it on the graph, let's do it one more color. I guess I haven't done pink yet. So this is effect 2. This is 2B. This is 2. Come on. to A. Oof. Okay. There. Okay. So let me just show you the graphs that I drew. So these are the new this is the new budget constraint change. These are the two indifference curves. We didn't actually need to draw, excuse me, we didn't need to draw the second indifference curve, technically speaking. This is the counterfactual budget constraint. This would be like the budget, what I call the budget BC sub effect. So this is the one that keeps the new budget constraints, the new budget constraints price ratio or slope, okay, but is on the old indifference curve. And this will be your substitution effect, and then this here will be your income effect. Okay. And then the overall change will be from here to here. Okay. So the substitution and income effects are working in opposite directions in this case because we're talking about the change in bananas when CDs became relatively cheaper. So income will give you relatively more purchasing power. Substitution will give you relatively higher price for bananas relative to CDs. Okay. All right. So that's that.